Let's be brutally honest for a moment. If you're holding the Iraqi Dinar or the Vietnamese Dong right now, you've been on a roller coaster that has mostly been going down for years. A ride filled with whispers, foreign posts that vanish by morning, and gurus making promises that sunrise after sunrise never seem to materialize into anything more than a drained bank account and a heart full of hope deferred. So when a new piece of information hits the ecosystem, especially one that seems to carry the official weight of institutions like Chase Bank, the Central Bank of Iraq, and the Bank of the Philippines, it doesn't just create a ripple, it creates a seismic wave that feels like it could finally be the tectonic shift we've all been waiting for. The specific claim, as you know from the title, is that these three financial pillars have allegedly confirmed fixed revaluation rates, placing the Iraqi dinar at a staggering $4.80 and the Vietnamese dong at $2.49. Now, before we let our hearts race ahead of our minds, before we even dare to imagine what that kind of financial transformation would look like in our own lives, we have to press pause on the euphoria and engage in the most critical exercise an investor in these currencies can possibly do. We have to dissect this claim with surgical precision, separating the tantalizing possibility from the hard, often unforgiving bedrock of global FI. Often unforgiving bedrock of global FI. The very mention of Chase Bank gives this rumor a veneer of Western legitimacy that previous rumors lacked, suggesting that this isn't just an internal Iraqi matter or a speculative play, but something that's been acknowledged on the global stage. And when you couple that with the Central Bank of Iraq, the very entity that controls the currency's destiny, and the Bank of the Philippines, a key player in the global remittance and currency exec, that is incredibly difficult to ignore. The reported source being latest financial briefings adds another layer of plausible credibility, implying this wasn't a leak from a shadowy figure but a formal communication to those in the know. So let's sit with that number for the dinar. $4.80? Let that sink in. We are talking about a currency that currently trades at well over 1,000 of its notes to get a single US dollar. So a revaluation to that level isn't just an adjustment, it's a complete and utter rewriting of Iraq's economic standing on the world stage, effectively making it one of the most valuable currencies in existence overnight. And for the Vietnamese Dong, a jump to $2.49 is equally astronomical. Mark it to a global financial powerhouse in an instant. The implications are so vast, so profound, that they border on the fantastical, and that is precisely where our skepticism must become our most valuable asset. Is such a move even feasible? What would it take for the global economic community, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the United States Federal Reserve to agree to such a cataclysmic reset? The truth is, a revaluation of this magnitude is unprecedented in modern economic history. It's not a simple flick of a switch. It would require a level of political stability in Iraq that, despite improvements, is still a work in progress, and it would require Vietnam to have accumulated and be willing to lock in a level of foreign exchange reserves that would be mind-boggling to back the new value, ensuring it doesn't collapse under its own weight the moment it goes live. This is a crucial context that every investor must hold in their mind. The intoxicating allure of the numbers versus the immense gravity-bound reality of international macroeconomics. The dream is powerful, but the mechanisms to make it real are infinitely complex. So, if the institutional names and the specific numbers create a story that seems almost too compelling to be false, we must then pivot our investigation to the underlying mechanics and the historical precedents that govern such monumental financial events, because without understanding the engine, we are merely passengers hoping the driver knows the way. Let's first consider the Central Bank of Iraq's stated goals and its actual, tangible actions over the past several years, which have been far less about a sudden, explosive revaluation and far more about a slow, methodical, and critically important process of stabilizing the Iraqi dinar's current value and reducing the massive volatility that has plagued it for decades. The CBI has been publicly and consistently focused on battling rampant inflation within its own borders, a task that requires monetary policy tools like adjusting interest rates and managing the money supply, not announcing a new exchange rate that would instantly multiply the wealth of every Iraqi citizen and foreign holder by thousands of times. Such an act would be the economic equivalent of detonating a nuclear bomb inside their own fledgling financial system. Imagine the overnight hyperinflation for basic goods and services, the complete collapse of export markets as Iraqi oil suddenly became astronomically expensive for the world to purchase, and the social upheaval that would follow when the gap between the wealthy and the poor was instantaneously and permanently cemented into a The CBI's primary mandate, like any central bank, is stability, not seismic shock, and a move to $4.80 is the antithesis of stability. It is a revolution. Similarly, for Vietnam, the State Bank of Vietnam has been meticulously managing the Dong's gradual appreciation against the U.S. dollar, allowing its export-driven economy to remain competitive on the global stage, particularly in sectors like textiles, electronics, and agriculture. A sudden, forced revaluation to $2.49 would instantly vaporize that competitive advantage, making Vietnamese goods, contraction that would set the nation back decades. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the role of Chase Bank and the Bank of the Philippines. Major international commercial banks like Chase operate within a tightly regulated global framework. They do not unilaterally confirm exchange rates for currencies that are not yet internationally traded at those levels. Their published rates for exotic currencies like the dinar and dong are derived from the prevailing active forex markets and interbank rates, not from secret briefings about future events. If Chase were to suddenly list the dinar at $4, it would be an actionable event that would trigger immediate and massive arbitrage trading across every other platform and bank in the world, leading to an instantaneous equilibrium at new price. The silence from every other major institution, Bank of America, Citibank, HSBC, Reuters, Bloomberg, would be deafening and from a financial perspective impossible. The claim often circulates that the Bank of the Philippines is involved due to its role in handling remittances from overseas workers, but this logic is fragile. While the BOP does handle currency exchange, it does so based on real-time, globally accepted rates. It does not set prophetic future rates for other nations' currencies. The more plausible, albeit less glamorous, reality is that the global financial system is a deeply interconnected and transparent organism, and a change of this magnitude cannot be kept a secret among three entities while the rest of the world's financial intelligence apparatus remains oblivious. The very nature of the claim that it is a secret yet somehow confirmed creates its own logical paradox that falls apart under the slightest scrutiny. This isn't to say that these currencies are without potential. Both Iraq and Vietnam represent two of the most exciting long-term growth economies in the world, with vast natural resources, young populations, and increasing foreign investment, and their currencies have a very realistic and probable path of gradual steady appreciation over the coming decade as their economies mature and globalize. But that path is a marathon, not a magic trick. Not a magic trick, not a magic trick, not a magic trick, not a magic trick. This is not a magic trick. Ticket that the $4.80 figure promises. Therefore, after navigating the turbulent waters between intoxicating rumor and hard financial reality, we arrive at the most critical juncture of this entire journey, the point where you, as an investor and an individual who has placed your hope and capital into this venture, must decide how to move forward with clarity and strategic intelligence, armed not with wishful thinking, but with a sober understanding of the actual forces. The dream of a life-changing revaluation is not inherently foolish. It is a powerful motivator that speaks to a universal desire for financial freedom and security, but the danger lies in allowing that dream to cloud your judgment to the point where you become vulnerable to confirmation bias, seeking out only the information that supports the desired outcome, while ignoring the deafening silence from the pillars of the global economic order. Ignoring the deafening silence from the pillars of the global economic order. To dream of the dangers of the pillars of the global economic order. The true path to success in the realm of exotic currencies, or any speculative investment for that matter, is not through waiting for a single cataclysmic event to rescue you, but through building a resilient and diversified strategy that can withstand the storms of misinformation and the long, often boring, timelines of international economic development. Consider the tangible, on-the-ground progress in Iraq and Vietnam, not as mere stepping stones to a revaluation, but as the actual foundation of their long-term value. Iraq's ongoing negotiations with international oil companies, its efforts to modernize its financial infrastructure away from a cash-based society, and its delicate political maneuvers to assert greater economic independence are all factors that contribute to a strong, meaningful way over the next 5 to 10 years. Similarly, Vietnam's explosive growth in manufacturing, its burgeoning tech sector, and its strategic positioning in Southeast Asia make the Dong a genuinely compelling asset for long-term portfolio diversification, representing a bet on a nation's ascent rather than a lottery ticket for an overnight fortune. The shift in perspective is everything. It transforms you from a passive holder waiting for a news alert into an active, engaged investor who monitors macroeconomic reports, tracks GDP growth, and understands the impact of trade agreements. This knowledge is your ultimate shield against the relentless cycle of hype and disappointment that has characterized this community for years. It allows you to look at a headline claiming confirmation from Chase or the Bob, and instead of feeling a surge of adrenaline, you feel a calm sense of inquiry, asking the logical questions. Where is the swift confirmation? Why has no major financial news outlet with a global reputation picked up this story? Where is the official press release on the Central Bank of Iraq's website? By demanding this level of verification, you reclaim your power and insulate yourself from the emotional whiplash that so many experience. The journey with the dinar and the dong is a profound lesson in financial literacy and emotional discipline, teaching us that the biggest returns are not just measured in currency exchange rates, but in the knowledge we accumulate and the critical thinking skills we sharpen along the way. So here's my call to action for you, a challenge that goes beyond simply liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I want you to become a detective of your own financial future. Take what we've discussed here today and go one step further. Go to the Central Bank of Iraq's website and look for their latest monetary policy statements. Read an economic report on Vietnam from the World Bank or the Asian Development Bank. Follow the price of oil and understand its direct correlation to Iraq's budgetary needs. When you do this, you are no longer relying on secondhand information. You are building your own foundational knowledge. So I want you to comment below, not with questions about the rate or the date, but with one concrete, factual piece of economic news you've discovered about either Iraq or Vietnam this week. It could be about an infrastructure project, a new trade deal, an inflation report, anything that contributes to the real-world picture. Let's build a community of informed investors, not just hopeful speculators. Share this video with someone else who needs to hear this balanced perspective. Hit that like button if this analysis has brought you clarity, and subscribe because we are just getting started in breaking down the complex world of global finance, one truth at a time. The future of your investment journey starts with the decision you make right now to seek understanding over euphoria.